everybody. Welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. I'm Matt Connarton, and to my right, making sure that the table is good and rubbed,
right,
is the Honorable Gary S. Hopper.
Yes, I was massaging the table.
Yes, it's a massage table.
It is.
It's a different kind of massage table.
Matt, top of the evening to you.
Thanks.
And to
my to you as well.
Far left, if you go around that way,
right? yeah.
Is the Honorable Pat Long.
Good evening.
Pat's one of the few Democrats who comes on the show. There hasn't been
that many. Not that many are willing to come on the show.
Count them on one hand.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know
why
not. I'm always open to discuss whatever is the interest of my constituents who watch your show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I thought this show was only for what? What was
well, we're huge in Malaysia.
No.
Oh,
it was only for. It was for an agenda.
Yes, the Free State Wackos.
Free State. So you're a Free State wacko now.
I am not a Free State.
Well,
wacko.
That's not what John Hopkins.
I haven't had that tag yet. So
right, but I'm saying that's what this show is supposed to be used for. So therefore, either A, you are one of those Free State wackos, or B, he was wrong.
I've never been tagged that before.
No.
But hey.
Whatever works.
If it gets you, that fits on my shoulder.
If it gets you reelected, it's good enough.
That fits on my shoulder.
There you go.
Oh, what the heck was I going to start with? Oh, I went down to Mom's.
Mom's?
I went down to Mom's.
Motorcycles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's that time of year, and last year mine got crunched, and I got to get another one. I'm having that.
Really? Yeah.
I want to spend some time behind bars, if you know what I'm saying.
You got it, yeah.
But yeah.
So did you see anything you like?
I saw too many things I want.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of getting. The motorcycle I had was a Yamaha 1300 V-Star, and it. As much as people make fun of Jap bikes, the cotton picking thing always turned on. You know what I mean? I got 40,000 miles on it with no problems. There was no mechanical errors. There's no men left on base. It ran flawlessly until it got crunched. So I'm kind of leaning towards that, except there's also Indian motorcycles come out with their Scout in the last couple of years, which is a 12. Because I'm really not eager to buy one of those big, huge dressers. That's as heavy as a car.
No, you got it. Yeah.
And the engine's bigger than a car. I think my wife's Nissan engine is I don't know what it is, 1400 cc. They got a lot of those big ones are like 1900 cc. I'm overweight, but I'm not that overweight. You don't need that much, But the 1200 Indian Scout, it's really light, nimble, tiny. Only a downside I saw in it is it's got a 3.3 gallon gas tank. So you're talking, you got to basically refill up every just over 100 miles, which is pretty frequent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went up to Concord at the Yamaha place, and they had a Honda with a 1300 cc, but it was made to look like the old chopper, like what was on Easy Rider.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's got the teardrop gas tank. It's like a 1 gallon gas tank. It is only made for bar hopping, really. That's all you can do with it, because you have to fill it up all the time.
Right.
So that's just ridiculous.
But did you look good on it? That's the question.
I look good on everything, so that's really not
so
a
it doesn't
variable.
really matter.
Yeah,
you're just going to enhance that motorcycle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
And I'm modest. I've already told you how modest I am.
I sit next to you, so I know.
Okay.
I know how your modesty shines through.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. But anyway,
yes.
But next week I got an eye operation. I got a cataract surgery on my only good eye. So I told the lady, I said, well, I'm going to buy something probably in the next week or two, but I want to find out if I'm going to need a white cane out in front of it or not.
Bike, yeah.
You know,
how long recovery is that?
it's actually supposed to be pretty quick.
Okay.
So, and that stinks because that's on Wednesday. I got Heichel coming in next week to do the show.
Okay. Okay.
Mr.
Good.
John of Heichel.
Yes.
I don't know who his guest is yet. He didn't know. I talked to him earlier today, and so my eye operation is in the morning, but we're doing gambling. The vote for gambling's next week, right?
It is next Wednesday. Yeah.
So I gotta figure out how to shake off the anesthesia and get over there.
I haven't looked at the calendar, so I'm not sure. Well, we don't have the calendar yet.
We don't have the calendar tomorrow night.
So I'm not sure what where that's at.
Yeah, so I was talking to Representative Hagan today, and he said he showed up a few years ago for an important vote with a catheter still in him.
Oh, God.
Actually,
Just that word makes me cringe. Oh.
Representative Roberts from Keene
Yeah.
had a stroke and showed up the next day. Left the hospital to come down for a house vote.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know.
That's true grit right there.
I don't know. Yeah, but there's a fine line between true grit and insanity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, on something like gambling,
it is huge. It's a huge vote.
That's huge. And
it's going to be wicked close.
I'd hate to, it's like missing a budget vote.
Yeah.
You're there just for the budget.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to probably have to have my wife, take me over there while I'm still drooling, and I'll just go and vote incorrectly.
You gonna have a patch, or you gonna wear those
I don't know.
sunglasses all the way
know.
across your face?
I'll do whatever, but I'll probably show up for that and then go home and pass out.
There you go.
But anyway, what are you doing on the gambling?
I'm pro.
You're pro,
I am.
even though you might harm Verizon.
I don't think it's going to harm Verizon.
I think it will drastically.
Yeah,
I think it'll destroy
we
it.
could have that argument, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I'm curious now.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think it could bring business to Manchester.
Why would it hurt Verizon? What's the argument?
Well, the venue they claim.
The argument is if it's a big casino, what casinos do. There was a guy who had a really, really nice restaurant. We got a call.
We have a call. Hi, welcome to Rock, Paper, and Grenades. Who's on the line? Hello?
Yes, I'm not too sure why they want to make casinos in New Hampshire. They have casinos in Massachusetts. They have casinos in Maine, in Connecticut, and also closing some casinos in Las Vegas. In other words, I think that's a very poor decision to put casinos here. In fact, when you come to New Hampshire, you come to the beaches and stuff like that, not to gamble. In other words, we have a good reputation in New Hampshire. And if you have gambling, I think it just puts a dark spot on New Hampshire. And I don't understand Lou D'Alessandro. I think instead of being born with a brain, I think he was born with a slot machine. Anyway, I'm very much against
Yeah, well, he's not the only
gambling in New Hampshire.
Yeah, he's not the only one on the bill, but I've heard those arguments.
Casinos. We're going to have gambling problems in New Hampshire. That's all I want to say. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, I think we have gambling problems in New Hampshire now. You could buy $25, $30 tickets.
Yeah.
We got a gambling problem now. I think people buying scratch tickets like $200-$300 a week.
Oh yeah.
If you got a gambling problem, you're going to have a gambling problem whether we have a casino or not.
But anyway, there was a guy who had a really nice restaurant, and then Mohegan Sun was opening up.
Okay.
About 5 miles away, or really close. And he says, "Well, is all these traffic going to come in and out? I'm going to do great." He had to close his doors within a few. It was a long-term restaurant too. It wasn't something new.
Wow.
And it was because when the casinos, their objective is to get people there, and keep them there until they shake them loose, all their change, then they kick them out the door.
Right.
And the reason that people make the argument that Verizon would be hurt is because they're trying to collect or attract all those people that would go to Verizon or other things, or like he said, to the beaches or anything else.
Yeah, one of the things with the Verizon is they have a 10,000 seat capacity venue for concerts, games, whatever, and the potential of a casino to have a venue of what a casino would do is get a big name in there,
Right.
lose money on that venue because they're expecting people that are going to gamble. But in this current bill, there's a 1,500 seat capacity limit.
Oh, that's small.
On any venue, so it's not.
So they're not going to get arena level acts.
Exactly. So it's not going to compete with. And right now it's very competitive because it's regional. Bands used to look at either northern Mass and southern New Hampshire for a venue.
Yeah.
But now with flights and with the equipment that it's all digital, they put their name out there, all covering all of New England, including upper state New York, saying, Paul Simon has a date open. What's your bid?
Right.
And Verizon and everybody else in that area would say, here's what we got, and he'll fly into the highest bidder.
Yeah.
You mean with the new electronic equipment, they don't need that huge apparatus to support their.
Well, these venues are less. So the main concert, like at the TD Bank
Pavilion there.
pavilion there, they would have 20 trucks showing up.
Yeah.
In a venue like this, they got 5 or 6 trucks showing up. So it's an easy setup, takedown for a quick $500,000 or 200,000 or whatever they get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we get that for doing our show?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, you want to put out an RFP?
A what?
Request for proposals. We'll email a request for proposals, who wants our show in their venue,
Right.
and we'll go with the highest bidder.
All right.
God, is there paperwork
It's that
involved
easy.
in that?
I
Though?
hate paperwork.
It
No,
sounds like-
email. You just email out.
Oh,
You just
okay.
do a
Okay.
blast email. Hey,
Well,
Gary and Mark. Gary and Mark are available on
Matt,
September. Gary and Matt are available.
Yeah, Mark.
on September
Mark
10th.
quit.
Mark, sorry.
Mark
Matt.
stormed off in a huff that
Right,
time.
I hate-
'cause
I hate that guy.
You offended him. Yeah.
So I guess we got a manager too.
Yeah, great.
That's works.
He's going to help us do that RFID.
RFID.
Yeah.
All right.
Barcodes.
Barcodes.
It's great.
Anyway, so anyway, back to the reason I invited you on wasn't gambling, but it's always a gamble to show up for the show anyway.
It is. I realize that.
So you're into gambling.
So far, I'm
obviously.
down. So far, I'm down. But
Yeah, you're down.
By the time I get out of here, I am going to be up.
Okay.
He's an optimist. He really is.
So anyway, it was really interesting, and it kind of opened my eyes because I hear the libertarians say this stuff all the time, and I just ignore it because the libertarians, to me, are so, in some ways, are pretty far out there. But I heard this yesterday from somebody who's, I don't think you would consider political per se. Maybe they are, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was. I thought we were going to need a really huge venue because I thought they said a bazillion judges were coming to our committee, but it was Brazilian judges were coming. So I was a little bit confused.
What committee you on?
Judiciary.
Judiciary. Okay.
Yeah. When I went on the Judiciary Committee, Pat, the average IQ of the committee went down 10 points. It was pretty bad.
Well,
But
we must have some good bills coming through there. Then.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah. A lot more
interesting now.
Yeah. Good.
But anyway, so the Brazilian judges came and they were talking about the different. Our judicial system is based on what we got from England.
Right.
That's kind of our starting point. Theirs is more Napoleonic, and because they were settled from. I was going to say Peru, and that's just stupid. Portugal. Okay, so they're Portuguese, and they got their judicial system from that, and so they have a little bit different setup, and there's not there's not really an adversarial defense and offense and stuff like that. It's different.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the judges I was asking about how you guys are dealing with the drug problem. Because, as you know, that's huge here. It
is?
We lost 2 kids this weekend.
Actually, there was a pretty disturbing article this morning of a 24-year-old woman working 55 hours a week at Portland Pie, found dead with a syringe in her arm in a bathroom.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it is. It is. Now, he is a hard worker, obviously, somebody who decided to, plant plant her roots in Manchester and got caught up in something. The paper said that she 3 times she was in rehabs. But, that's what we were talking about. It's, the substance abuse is a full circle issue. It's not just get into rehab and you come out and you're all set. You know? I mean, I'm a diabetic. I eat a chocolate bar, I take a shot, I could be okay. It's not advised.
Right.
But I can eat a chocolate bar, get high sugar, and take my insulin and go down,
Right.
But, the drug abuse is different. And we need a full circle. We have rehabs. We, not enough. We have treatment facilities, 3 to 9 months. And we need in Manchester, I believe we need a recovery center. That's somebody, when you come out of rehab, they're asking you want me to call you every week, every day? And they're doing that calls. Maybe if this young woman had the opportunity to be getting calls once a week or every day, we would have had different circumstances. I don't know, but we absolutely need to do something. So you were saying about what Brazilians were doing?
Yeah, in Brazil, I think I have the years wrong. Around 2006, they decriminalized basically small portions of heroin, cocaine, everything. Okay. So that theoretically the addict was not being treated like a criminal anymore. And the judge said, this is a great idea, except we implemented it so badly that it has had a negative effect. Because what they do is the police, as police do, they kind of want to prosecute people, or they just started charging all the users as dealers. So there really has been no positive change. So
when they decriminalized it or what have you,
didn't have any.
Was there still a black market? They were still getting it from the underground.
Oh yeah.
See, and I think that's what the issue. If you're going to decriminalize stuff like heroin, at the very least, look at the underground, because that's what the issue is. It's the mixtures that they're all. I went to National Council of State Legislators. I've been going to that for like 6 years, and I went to this one of the seminars they had there was the guy that's in charge of the federal drug and alcohol. I don't know if it's the drug and alcohol, the DEA, or if it's just a division of the DEA, substance abuse. And he was talking about the substance abuse, the heroin in particular. And he says he was talking to to somebody that was a heroin user in the 60s and 70s. And he says what they used to do is they used to get their bag of heroin, and they used to cut it until they wouldn't nod off. So they would cut it until they got the right amount that they would inject, because you don't want to nod off, you want to feel high. When you nod off, you wake up and you got to take more, and that's your waste. Yeah. He says, but what they're doing today is they're used to oxycodones or whatever, and then they see how little it is for $5, and they figure this is nothing. I could do all of this. They don't know what they don't know what the content is.
Right.
It could be pure. It could be mixed with fentanyl or anything. Yeah. And that's where the overdoses are. That's why we have a high cause of overdose, because they don't realize what they're injecting. Mm-hmm.
Well, the one thing that happened after that is I was talking to Representative Sylvia, and he said Portugal itself, which is probably where Brazil got the idea, has decriminalized back in 2001. And they still prosecute people who are dealing, but people who are just using, they put into treatment instead.
Okay, so if you got caught just using, you would go to treatment. I mean, who's paying for that though?
Yeah,
the state,
yeah,
the country.
That's.
I mean, that's. I mean, we had talked before, and treatment is good, but it's not. Treatment in this industry isn't a cure-all, because it's it's like quitting smoking or quitting any habit you have. Quitting getting up in the morning, having a cup of coffee. Try that. After about a week, you're gonna sneak a coffee. Because you love coffee. Getting up in the morning. After about a day, I'd be done with it. Yeah. But right. But I mean, try that. It's a mind and a physical thing. You got to get over the physical. Right. Then you're struggling with the mind.
Right.
So you know, it's not like put somebody in rehab, they get out of the hospital and they're
They're all good.
They're all cured.
Yeah.
You know, there's follow-ups. You know, it's a tough thing.
Yeah, they're going to struggle to some degree for the
That's
rest of
right.
their lives.
That's
Yeah.
right. Exactly. So, I mean, it has worked. There are people that are
Oh,
heroin
absolutely.
users that have
Absolutely.
recovered.
Yeah.
So it does work. However, it's not going to work. I mean, and that's the difficult thing with government support, because we want to see a percentage. Okay, out of 100 people, 70
yeah.
of them are going to be cured. Well, I don't know that number. My understanding is 3% of AA people that attend Alcoholics Anonymous are successful, 3%. But I don't know where that number came from.
Well, that's actually part of the problem too. But let me finish the thing on the Portugal. So Portugal decriminalized. They claim, this is from a Cato Institute article I was reading before the show, that I think I might be confusing with something else I read. But anyway, there was one of the articles I read basically said their drug addicts, people considered addicts, has actually gone down considerably. That type of crime and stuff has gone down considerably, and the rest of Europe is starting to look towards Portugal as an example of
As a model. Yeah.
as a model.
I mean, it does make sense that if people are going into rehab, like you said, when they get arrested, when they get caught, they're going into rehab if you're a user. You know, I could see, you put 100 people in this month into a rehab. Let's see what the numbers are that are going to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Put 100 in the next month. See what those numbers are.
Well, let's go.
So I could say. So the bottom line from that result tells me that we need to be sending people into rehab,
Right.
at the very least.
Well, I think the thing to look at it, instead of looking at it like government creating these new rehabs, is instead of throwing them into Valley Street and being treated like crap because they're basically being treated like criminals. So, and if fear would cure them, that would do it, and it never does.
Yeah, fear doesn't. No,
Fear doesn't have anything to do with it.
I mean,
the consequences of going to jail do not change.
The luxury
behavior.
we have is the brain studies. We have that luxury now to know what your reciprocals do, or whatever they're called. Is that what they're called? Reciprocals? Or
I don't know.
receptacles?
receptors.
Or receptors?
Yes.
Yeah, we know what they do now. So we know that no heroin addict could say, I'm all done. This is bad for me. Starting tomorrow, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
Once you have basically, through using heroin, programmed your brain to love it, it always loves it.
That's right.
It's
craving it when you're not having it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
craving it, and that's what drinking. That's what anything.
Yeah.
Any,
Well, yeah,
any
but
drink.
there's-
Nature of addiction. Yeah.
But there's a huge difference between drinking and heroin.
Well, it's quicker.
Well, if you took a room full of 50 legislators and they all drank every day for a month, only a small percentage of those would end up being alcoholics.
That's true.
But you
That's
take
true.
that same 50 legislators and shoot them up with heroin. At the end of the month, you have 50 heroin
Addicted.
addicts.
Yeah. It's not. The addiction isn't just the addictive personality.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because somebody who drinks doesn't turn into an alcoholic.
Right.
There are people with addictive personalities that
Are prone
to having an addiction. Like I'm
Yeah.
a smoker.
like the Irish.
Yes.
Right?
I'm drunk right now.
Again?
Well, yes.
I think we'll have to get Mark back. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Matt.
Mark's been doing heroin. You don't want him.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no. Well,
That's a lot worse.
we'll keep Matt. So I mean, you had Amanda Bolden and Pam on.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Tucker on
yes, I
last,
did.
was it last week?
Yeah.
Amanda's been a champion on the Narcan bill.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Now, I mean, they had some questions. They were looking at percentages. They were looking for percentages. I read 3 studies. One was New Futures. They're the group that they're an organization for pro dealing with substance abuse.
Right.
The other one is the Governor's Task Force on Substance Abuse, and there's a coalition of mental health or something
Right.
that address substance abuse. I mean, every one of them at the end said, we need more money.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Now, none of those people are government people, are elected officials.
Right.
So when you get to an elected, I know when I see nonprofits sitting in front of me, the first thing I'm thinking of is, okay, what kind of gig do you have?
Right.
What kind of gig are you looking for? Are you looking to hire your buddy to your staff?
Right.
And that's the way government people think, right? I mean, we got to make those decisions. Elected official, I want to make sure if I'm gonna contribute 20,000, I want to make sure that I'm getting
$20,000 worth of work. Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
So it's not good. It's not. As a union, when I was a union representative, I used to go sit in front of companies,
Yeah.
and I could see them put up that wall when I sat in front of them.
Really? Yeah.
And this is the same thing. Yeah. Here's the union guy. I'm going to say I met with him, and have a nice day when you walk out this door. I don't even know you, right?
Right.
So that's the same thing that elected officials do with nonprofits,
Yeah.
because we never sense we're getting the best bang for our buck.
No.
We're always getting ripped off somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a gig, and
But
Yeah.
are using us.
A big problem with it is the government itself. And I'll tell you why. Is if you look at Alcoholics Anonymous at its inception, okay, they were having, and I kind of probably forgot the numbers, but over 50% success rate. Okay, not the 3% success rate you hear about now, but over 50% success rate. And the reason you had a 50% success rate is, A, the people wanted it. There were people that were pretty far down the, had fallen pretty far down into the pit and wanted to see sunshine again. But it was an intense program. They took that guy to meetings. They made that guy, usually guys, go through the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they pushed them through it.
Right.
Okay, they took that guy by the scruff of the neck and forced them through the steps for the first few months and got them very active.
That's what's key there.
That's
they were there every day on a daily basis for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, helping that person take one step at a time.
Yep.
Day in and day out.
But they were willing to do the steps, and anybody.
Well, they forced them to. If you weren't willing, next.
Yeah, hit the trail.
Don't waste my time.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But the thing is one of the common denominators of the people that are successful in Alcoholics Anonymous and NA or any of these is they are people who have a spiritual awakening via the steps.
Right.
If they go through the steps, and the steps are a deliberate process of getting rid of baggage, learning to change the person who became the addict to begin with, and through a spiritual awakening, they basically have a eureka moment.
Right.
And then they continue to go to meetings, and those people are extremely successful.
Yeah, I mean, because that's when they know that I could do this. I mean, the first couple of months, it's like, this is just never going to happen to me.
No, and
I'm
the
a
heroin,
drunk. I'm
the
going to remain a
heroin or
drunk.
the alcohol's in the back of your brain going,
You got
come
it.
back to me, come back to me, I
exactly,
love you.
exactly. So it's
With
not
that voice, too. It's exactly
that voice.
That sounds
right.
awful. I'm
It's very
especially
attractive.
not
Very
gonna-
attractive voice.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
glad I'm not an addict. Wow, it's
Very attractive.
that sounds kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is.
So elected officials want to know numbers.
Yep.
And in my opinion, there's anybody who's in a rehab is 100% successful. Anybody who's in a treatment program, they're 100% successful.
Well, there's a practical, and we talked about, I think it was last week we talked about, there's a practical problem with numbers with this stuff anyway. It's like, in order to be really certain about what the numbers are, it would require anyone who's ever gone through treatment to keep in touch with the treatment center or whatever. So you can never really be sure. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I'm a hypnotherapist. I help people quit smoking. Right. And when somebody asks me, well, what's your personal success rate? I can tell them, well, the National Guild of Hypnotists estimates this and that, but I have no way of knowing for certain, because it would require every client I've ever seen to have kept in touch with me about are they still not smoking or have
Yeah,
they
but
fallen back.
you don't follow up, like call a year later and say how you doing, and
No.
No, so there's no guarantee after a year if I'm still smoking, I go back and you give me a freebie?
No,
No.
I can't guarantee personal behavior, but you can quit if you want to, Pat.
Yeah,
I merely guide you through the process.
I hear that. I don't believe it, but hey,
yeah,
It's true.
that's my mental health. You know,
there's gonna be a
that's
fight.
my mental
Are
health.
you a smoker?
I am.
Okay. We'll talk after
and
the show.
I don't like it. I don't like smoking, but you know, I enjoy it.
yeah.
So
I think that's actually a good example because I tried quitting a bunch of times. Okay.
Quitting smoking?
Yes.
I didn't realize you were a smoker.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was doing a pack and a half a day or whatever.
Oh, I never knew that.
And my daughter, bless her little heart, used to come home from school. This is when she's, this high. And say, "Daddy, when are you going to quit doing drugs?" And she said it in that exact voice.
Really?
Yeah, it was perfect imitation. So anyway, so she would say that, and I say, "Hey, don't do drugs." She goes, "You smoke, and they told me in school that's drugs."
yeah.
And I says, "Well, I hate your teacher." So, but she kept at it. Okay, she's relentless.
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, you really want me to quit?" I painted myself in a corner. Oh, we get a call.
We got a call. All right.
Painted myself. I can remember where I was.
Welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. Who's on the line?
Hey, this is Norm.
Norm!
Rehab centers. I actually think that I was in one that worked out really well, but 95% of the people that go to rehab centers, they're only going there not to get help, but to avoid their family issues or to avoid going to court or something like that. And my biggest problem is that the government is paying for them to go there, and 95% aren't ready to give it up. Unless they're truly ready to give up drugs or alcohol, it's just a waste of taxpayers' dollars. At least that's my opinion. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Norm.
Thanks, Norm.
Yeah, he's basically right.
I
mean,
helped Norm quit smoking, by the way.
So you did?
Yes.
Okay.
True story.
Okay, so I painted myself into a corner. So I told Anna and my son Sean. My son Sean was, I think, like 5 at the time, so he was just kind of along for the ride. I said, "You really want me to quit?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, well let's ask God to help me."
Yep.
So I went into my bedroom. We got down on our knees, and I asked Jesus to help me quit smoking cigarettes. Now I painted myself in the corner in that I knew. These are little impressionable kids. I can't smoke if I do this.
That's right.
I
right.
can't.
Yeah.
God's not listening to you.
Because
helping you.
that's what it'll look
You
like
got
to
it.
them.
Right.
That's right.
That God doesn't do
He's
anything.
ignoring you.
He's
That's
ignoring
right.
me.
Yeah.
So I had to quit.
Yeah.
And
That was a good.
it was,
that was
I
that was a good
blackmailed
idea.
myself. So
Yeah.
but the thing is God honored it. And I'll tell you why. I did not have any withdrawals. And you know what it's like trying to quit. You're
bet.
coming unglued.
Absolutely.
And I came unglued every single time I've ever tried to quit, except that one.
I do remember now you telling me that story, and you said that's called stepping out in faith when you do
Yes.
that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alice Cooper tells a similar story about quitting drinking. He prayed. He prayed on it, and he said after he did that, he never had any kind of withdrawal from
Desire.
it, no urge to drink at all, which is unusual. Most people are fighting that demon for the rest of their lives, but not in his
you got
case.
it. You got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, getting back to the percentages.
Yep.
I mean, right now there's an epidemic.
Oh, it's huge.
So, if it's 1%, if it's a 0.5%, is that better than what we got today?
Right.
I think so.
But wouldn't it be better? Because obviously what we're doing isn't working. I think anybody with any rational person can look at the system now and saying taking people and you find them with a syringe and throwing them in Valley Street is not working.
No.
They're still getting out, and as soon as within probably 10 minutes of getting out, they're high again.
Yeah. Not only is it not working, but when you get out, try to get a job if you're a felon.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
yeah.
it compounds.
Yeah.
You need everything when you straighten out. You need everything to grab onto, and to be let out of jail and saying I'm going to stop this. This isn't going to beat me, but to now realize that you're going for
can't find
jobs
a
and you're a
job.
felon. You know, so that's I think that's going to be looked at. You know, whether it's a drug court issue or whether because you're right, it's anybody could walk down, but for the grace of God go I. Anybody could walk down that road.
Absolutely.
I'm just blessed that I haven't had to walk down that road.
Yeah.
With respect to heroin, I've walked down some bad roads, but not heroin. So
I thought I saw you on the street.
You see me on some
bad road.
Some bad road.
Yeah, good
bad
potholes.
Road. Yeah, you went by with your motorcycle.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't.
But if we took, I don't know how much did it cost to incarcerate somebody in Valley Street.
It's 30,000, 35,000.
No, say for a day. Say
Oh,
for a month.
day, a month. I'm not sure.
Probably the first month's most expensive. Say it's $8,000. That's a good guess for a month.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Put them in rehab for a month. You know what I mean? And even if because what, and if we
it's $12,000 for a 28-day program.
if we took all those heroin, say for small quantities of heroin, cocaine, whatever it is, and knock those down to not what's a felony? What's
Misdemeanor?
a misdemeanor?
Yeah.
So it's not hanging over their, hanging them,
Hanging on their record.
hanging on their record for the
drugs.
rest of their lives.
Right.
Or if we came up with something, call it a felony.
Right.
But if they're clean and sober a year later, it's knocked down to a misdemeanor automatically.
are they going to
or something? We got to do something.
Are they going to prison because of possession or?
I think
Is
so.
it possession? So it's not because they robbed the bank.
I don't know.
And then they found out after. I mean, they robbed a house. Then they found out afterward they have a drug addiction.
Yeah, I think with heroin, even just possessing, you
Possessing is a felony. Anything to do with
I believe so.
With a narcotic class, whatever narcotic, I guess.
Yeah. But if we started taking those people, charge them with a felony, because that's what the law is. But as soon as they've been clean and sober for a year, it's knocked down to a misdemeanor, and it's off their record.
Yeah, that
or something
makes sense to me. I mean, like you said, we have to do something because what's going on now is not working.
No, it is not working. I mean,
the
Narcan thing is better, but it's still.
I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't affect people until they get affected. Until it's their daughter, their aunt, their son or what have you, their grandchild. But by then it's tough. I mean, I spoke with a woman who UNH had this discussion on substance abuse like a year and a half ago. They broke us all down into 5 or 6 groups, and we were talking. And there was this woman that was talking about her son. She didn't know what to do. He's stealing from her and her husband. He's still living there. He's like 19 years old. So everybody was trying to give her a hand. It's tough, and here's what you probably should be doing, but it's going to be not easy. I just saw her about a month ago, and her son's in jail now. Now, I know the rough time she went through, as a parent.
Right.
You want the best for your kid. You don't want to see your kid handcuffed. You don't want to see it go visiting your child in jail.
No.
You don't want to know that your child's a heroin addict. So where do you turn? Where do you go? I mean, if you don't have the money, there's nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. There's literally nowhere to go.
Yeah. My cousin, I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but my cousin died of AIDS. Okay. Yeah. And he told me this joke. This is back in the 80s when there wasn't really if you got AIDS, that was it. You were going to die.
Right, yeah.
And this is I spent some time with him before he died, and he was telling me that because back when AIDS first came out, the people who predominantly had it were either Haitian or drug users, heroin, needle users.
Yeah. Needle users, yeah.
And so he says, what the toughest part about, or homosexual. And he says the toughest part about getting AIDS. I says, no, what's that, Bobby? He says, convincing your parents you're Haitian.
That's a good joke.
Actually, you sit by a good Haitian.
I do?
Jean Judy.
Oh, yeah.
Jean Judy's right to the left of you.
Everybody's probably to the left of me.
Most right.
Yeah, most people are. I mean, that doesn't narrow it down.
I think he's the row in front of. I think he's in my row.
Okay.
On the other end.
In section 5?
Section. You're in 5. I thought you were in 1.
No, that was
Oh,
that
that's
was
right. That was
term.
last term.
That was
That's right.
last
You know,
term. We were sitting.
I'm thinking of
we were
Joe.
best
Joe
buddies.
Petrie is still in our.
Oh yeah,
still in
yeah,
our
yeah.
section.
Him and me look so much alike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're like almost
Spitting
identical
images.
twins.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. You're in 5 now.
I'm on 5. I'm across the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I what's the solution? Once again we need the full circle. We need there's this Hope for Recovery organization that's a recovery center, and what they do is they'll call people being released from rehabs or placement and ask if they would like a daily call or a call once a week, and they would do that. They have life coaches if you need to come in, do a resume, job building, support groups, and I think that's what Manchester needs, and we need it. We need it downtown, and it's not a place where people are going to be hanging out, drinking coffee, smoking
Right.
cigarettes, and eating cookies.
I guess I won't be.
I mean, I'm still,
No cookies.
I'm still addicted to those £2 99 bags of cookies.
Did I tell you I rather attracted to Little Debbie too? So
Ooh, the little, that's
Little
you could
Debbie and
you
me are
could
pretty close.
that sugar still has the crunch in it when you're biting that. That sugar has the crunch in it still. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just seems like we've got to start thinking outside the box, because the box is killing a lot of kids. Because like you said, it's not. We know what we're doing's not working. Like you said, that it's until it's your own kid or a neighbor's kid or something like that, you don't really see it. But it's happening all the time. There's just so many kids dying. Right. And I say kids, but they're 18 to 20 or whatever typically.
Yeah.
25. Or
And it's
something.
all spectrums. It's not the heroin addict we knew in the 60s and 70s.
No.
It's middle class kids. I mean, this young woman, Molly Parks, 24 years old, hard worker. Caught up in it.
Yeah.
3 times in rehab.
Yeah, I know. I think it was heroin, but a kid my son grew up with, he was on the news recently. He did something so cotton picking crazy because he was high, and now he's I don't know what jail he's in, but he's in jail,
Right.
And if you could have caught him when he was doing with small possession and started treating them early, maybe we would keep some of these kids out of jail.
I mean, Norm had a good point about the 95% of them. But the reason why they're addicted is because there's a problem. They're avoiding a problem.
Right.
There's an issue. So you start self-medicating.
Yeah.
And then you get caught up in it. And it becomes a bigger issue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's human beings by nature are, except me, are really arrogant, and they believe they are the ones who can.
I'm good.
Overcome
it's not going to
it.
get me down. That's right.
No,
that's right.
This ain't going to take me down. It's only a little teeny bit of.
I'm just going to try it.
Yeah.
I'll just try it today.
I'll be
be
good.
all right
I'll be
tomorrow.
good.
I know some of these folks too who get hooked on heroin. It's people like war veterans, for example, who they need some kind of pain medication or something, and then when they can't get it anymore, they turn to self-medicating and situations like that too. So it's not just kids who get into trouble either. It's veterans and all kinds of people.
There's a lot of cases nowadays of these kids getting. I went through all that medical crap last year. Every time I'd go through a procedure, they'd like the carotid artery. I walked out of the hospital with a prescription for some heart medication or whatever the heck it is, and OxyContin.
Yeah.
I sold the prescription, obviously, because I didn't want it.
I had my gallbladder out, and it was one of those you're in and you go home the same day,
Yeah.
And so my wife comes, picks me up, and we're walking out there, and I'm walking slowly, and she says, okay, just take it easy. She goes, are you going to be okay? I says, okay, I'm going to stand outside of this car right now and enjoy the sunlight and smoke myself a cigarette. I feel wonderful.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's like, wow, no wonder people get hooked on this stuff.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, it was like I had no care in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Life was good.
Yeah.
So, I could see how easy it is to
Sure.
want to look for more when you run out. And you're right. I took them. I took one the next day, and I had 28 left. I'm like, what do I got 30 of these things?
Right.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like the Oxycontin from for the neck.
Right.
I didn't take any of them. I ripped the script up because, first of all, after the operation, my neck is still a little bit numb. So that was, 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
So,
Plus taking them, you don't really feel the sore. So you're not cautious.
no.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
You're going to pick up something and blow your stitches away.
Right. Yeah.
'Cause you don't feel it.
Right.
But it's
Yeah.
the kids getting out or they hurt themselves. There's cases of kids who were in sports and they hurt themselves.
Sure.
Come out with Oxycontin. Like you said, it feels great. I feel wonderful. This is the best feeling I've ever had.
I mean, imagine having that
I
in
have
high
no
school.
more. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
the life
Especially
of
if
the
you
party.
probably if you mix it with booze, it's perfect.
Yeah. Jesus.
Thank God. So that's what happens. They're
that's
addicted to They get addicted to the Oxycontin, and
Yeah.
you start coming down, and it's like, wow, what can I do?
So I mean, I don't look at it as a there's a part of society that's creating this. I don't see that.
Yeah.
I just think it's supply and demand. I mean, my understanding at that same seminar I was telling you about with NCSL, there's a drug that is stronger than oxycodone, and this DEA guy was telling us that the FDA board said don't approve this drug. I mean, it's stronger. We got an issue with oxycodone. Wait till you start releasing this, and they still released it.
Oh, really?
Because in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute. This drug company's making a ton of money, and he's having our community spend a ton of money, killing a lot of people in the same time.
Right.
So why don't they come up with the finances?
Right.
Right.
Or at least knock it off.
Right.
Because the reason why doctors are giving this out is because they're getting incentives. However.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not. It's not a, Mr. Long, here's 30 of them. Stay high for the month.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Yeah, okay, like I need to, right? So it's, there's an issue with the FDA also that's saying it's okay to, we're going to approve this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the battle goes on, but, I know in Manchester, I mean, I'm really touched by that article I read in the paper today.
Which paper was Union Leader?
It was in a Union Leader front page. This young woman, Molly Parks, 24 years old. Her mother lives in, I want to say Berlin, and her father works for a company in Maine, so I'm not sure where he's from. So I'm thinking she's probably not from Manchester, but wanted to come here and put her roots in Manchester, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
We want the young people coming in here, getting apartments, getting jobs, putting their roots in Manchester. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And she happened to get caught up in this. I don't want that for anybody.
I wouldn't want it for my daughter.
I wouldn't either. And
We got a call.
I think.
So I think this is probably be it.
Okay. Hi. Welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. Who's on the line?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you folks, your representatives in New Hampshire, in the New Hampshire House of Representatives. I was wondering if you know, or if you could tell us about the 1% of the liquor sales in New Hampshire is supposed to go towards the substance abuse or alcohol abuse treatment.
Yep.
If you could elaborate on that and why we don't get the whole 1%. Is the fund rated for other things? That's what seems to be known. So if you could let us know more about that. We'd greatly appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you that when Foxwood and the casinos went into Connecticut, they promised all that money was going to go to the towns because the towns and cities were having difficulty. And so that was one of the justifications for the casinos. Within 2 or I think 3 years, the newest legislature said, that's not so good. So they started spending it putting it in the general fund. What happens with these things is when we put something in place, the legislature that put into place promises to put, you said 1%, I don't know.
Yeah, it's 5%.
5%.
5%.
5% of that revenue into treatment. The problem is the next legislature is almost like an entirely different entity and is not obligated to follow whatever the previous legislature agreed to. That's why this stuff happens all the time, where the legislature says, if the people say it's okay to do A, we will spend all of the money from A to do this. And after a couple of years, a different legislature says, maybe not so much.
Right. I mean, my personal opinion is that the state controls the liquor sales. So this 5% is supposed to go to that substance abuse.
Right.
It ought to be going to the substance abuse.
It should,
I know
yeah.
there's been a big advocacy this budget to do that. It didn't happen in the House. I don't know where it's going in the Senate. You know, with the issues that we have all over the state. I mean, you know, Berlin, the overdoses are happening everywhere. You know, this is a pot of money that we need to look at again.
Yeah.
And we need to.
You know, try to make that happen and work with the Senate and, you know, really be serious about that fund, and I think it would help us out all over in Manchester.
I agree, but remember, there's all kinds of groups vying for that same money.
Yeah.
For very other very good reasons. Mental health,
which is all tied in. Actually,
it's all tied in. But it's like the
Right,
roads.
we'll let her go.
Yeah,
Thank you for the call.
Thank you for the call. But it's like the tolls. I think where tolls are all supposed to go towards fixing the roads. Right, or maintaining and/or fixing the roads.
There's two different. There's toll roads where you have an actual toll.
Right.
And then there's the state roads, which the federal funds give us. The toll roads are all set. The roads where you have a toll on, plenty of money with those with the tolls. Plenty of money, but you can't use that money to take care of the federal funded roads that we get subsidized with.
Right.
So the toll roads, that's why we sold the Hampton Beach to the toll road system, so that we could have money to at least take care of that, expand that, so that, you know, because that's
but I'm
huge,
talking about like the gas tax. All this money was supposed to go to the roads.
Oh yes.
But then the legislature says, well, you know, state police patrol the roads, so that's kind of like so next thing you know, money's
but
going.
My understanding, that's by Constitution. That was challenged, and it was deemed constitutional that the intent of the legislature was for this money to go towards servicing the roads, or, you know, however that takes, whether it's police, whether it's. So I don't know if we could just take that money out of the state police fund or the.
I'm just saying we always have intentions of spending money when we first introduce legislation, and it never it often gets diverted to other things. So it's not.
No, I mean, you know,
but
elected officials have a history of that.
Yeah.
I'm guilty too.
I'm not.
Good for you.
I am.
I'm sure I am, but I'd rather say that I'm not.
I will be someday if I run for office.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I vote on.
Yeah, I don't remember. I try to forget.
That's
plausible deniability.
Very good, Gary.
Pat, thank you very much. You're awesome.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, Pat.
Fun. Thank you, Matt.
And we'll see you guys. Well, I won't see you next week, but I'll see you the week after. And Matt,
I'll be here with John Heichel.
You'll be here with Heichel.
Here with Heichel.
I'll see you guys.
Bye, everybody.